Andy Scott, I suppose you call that a game of two halves. At half time, there seemed to eminently possible that the shots would get a result.
I think the first 25 minutes we were good. After that, we didn't deserve anything out of the game. In fairness, I thought that we got 1-0 up and looked dangerous going forward, and we were doing the right things, and then we stopped passing the ball. We stopped working with the energy that we had done, and let them back into the game. They scored a goal from a mistake when we had the ball, a poor defensive error, and then an early goal in the second half. We never really recovered. I think it was probably a game too far for a few people, legs wise, and it looked like that when we were chasing the game. We started making basic errors, and that's what happens. You don't get results if you don't do the basics right. And they played with a lot of energy, and they showed that they wanted to turn their form round, and it was a fair result in the end.
And after 7 games in 20 days with 9 or 10 players out injured, I suppose that's understandable.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like losing, and the players don't like losing, and we didn't lose in the right fashion today. We were sloppy in possession. We didn't work as hard as we had done, and then when people started getting tired, we looked a little bit disorganised. And it's acceptable with that a few have got carrot knocks and they've given everything. Dan Holman's come off with an injury at half time, and Moles has had flu. So you can make excuses, but I don't want to, because we had a better side one today, and but we at least know, and it shows that when we play the way we want to play, we look dangerous, and when we don't play the way we want to play, we don't look like we're going to get back into the game.
And it is keeping that discipline and that shape, and reinforcing all of the good things when the players are having to be chopped and changed, even though you named an unchanged starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean we had to. We're down massively down on numbers. Parks couldn't start because he hasn't trained, so he's come through 45 minutes. But we've got people, playing with injuries. We have done, but we're not going to make excuses. It wasn't good enough today. We started off brilliantly, scored a really good goal, looked on the front foot, but then all over the pitch we stopped doing what we had done in the first 25 minutes, and we allowed them to get the momentum. The crowd were waiting to get on their backs, and after our goal, they were starting to. Then they got their goal, and then the whole mood of the place changed, and they changed, and they got a little bit of optimism about what they could do, and they took it on. An early goal in the second half really killed us. Poor goal give away again. Didn't challenge for the first ball up front. Ball bounces in midfield, and it was just a hook on, and we're coming out without marking. And Bishop, had a good game today, and really made life difficult for our 2 centre halves. Scored a goal, so that's the way it is.
But it had been an excellent start, and Dan Holman, I suppose it was inevitable that he would come here after the disappointing time he had at Wrexham on loan before he arrived at the Shots, and it was a fantastic finish.
Yeah, it was a really good goal, very, very good goal, and it was a bit of a blow losing him, but I just felt our energy levels really dropped after a half an hour, and you could visibly see it with the players that they're not just physically tired but mentally tired as well, and we made really poor mistakes on the ball. We gave the ball away in some really poor areas. We didn't move it as quickly as we needed to. In tight areas we tried to do too much and lost possession, and we didn't exploit the spaces that were there, and there were plenty of spaces, but it's a lesson to learn. It's a lesson to learn for the players, and but we're bare bones. We're bare bones, and we haven't played the side that we've played, and that's the way it is. And we're hopeful that we can get a couple back, and if we don't, then it's going to be tricky. But that's where we are. We couldn't bring anyone else in for one reason or another, and so we're left with the same 11 playing every game with injuries and without injuries, with illnesses, and that's the way it is. But we've got 8 days now, so it gives us a little bit more time to try and get a few back.
And that's it. But fortunately, no midweek game, and it's now finally can focus on Rochdale and focus on getting everybody, or as many people as possible, out of the treatment room.
Yeah, I mean, we're working our socks off to try and get them back fit. It's just tricky. We don't want to push people too far, because it's not just the Rochdale game. We've got 6 more games before the window opens again, and some important games. And if in a couple of weeks we're still with the lack of numbers that we've got now, we're going to be in trouble. But that's where we are. We understand that. We know where we are with what we've got, and we're having to deal with it. So we are, and it may be that we've got to protect a few people and not bring them back too early to make sure that they can sustain the Christmas period. but that means that the other lads have got to, you know, dig in and put the work in and play the games maybe not quite 100% physically right to.
But the spirit has been there, and when the legs are willing, then that
absolutely.
will see the team come
Listen, we've been terrific. Yeah, we've been terrific. We've had like you say, we've played 7 games in 20 days. You know, it's been a ridiculous run, and we've played some good sides, and we've played very well. And like I say, I think this was a game too far. I think everyone saw that. The fans appreciated the effort. They knew that they weren't not giving their all. We just had nothing left in the tank, and you know, this week's going to be important to make sure we get everybody back fit and revive everyone and get ready for Sunday.